Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're really happy that you joined us. We're talking about scaling up, looking at resources that are available for growing your markets, and in particular, looking at value-added opportunities for your farmer ranch enterprise or your local food business. This webinar is part of the Cultivating Success program, which was established in 2000 by University of Idaho Extension, Washington State University, and the nonprofit organization Rural Roots. We are actually in the 5th webinar of our 2024 webinar series, and so you can see the other topics that have been covered. Any previous topics are recorded and on the Cultivating Success website. We hope that you can also join us for Thursday's webinar, which is going to be talking about some of the amazing resources available through the Idaho State Department of Ag. So I'm Colette DePhelps. I'm an area educator with the University of Idaho, and I'm located on the Moscow campus. I'm going to be one of your hosts for today's webinar, and your other host is Melissa Hamilton. Melissa is an extension educator who is located in Valley County, which is the Donley-McCall area, and her focuses are community development, agriculture, and horticulture. So today's speaker, myself, I'm going to be telling you about resources available from a newly established regional food business center. Katie Baker, who is the executive director of FAIR Idaho, will be talking actually through a recorded video about the resources available and support through FAIR. Yana Hamlet, who's with University of Idaho Extension and Tech Help, located in the Twin Falls area, is going to be talking about food processing resources available. And then Hannah Harris from Sun Valley Institute for Resilience will be talking about the Institute and also about an infrastructure mapping project that's ongoing. So to start out and talking about the Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center, this business center is newly funded. The leads are Colorado State University and Oregon State University. And then we have 6 states covered, as you can see in the screen. The regional food business centers are actually, there's 12 of them across the US. So every state is covered, as well as a nationwide center that is focused on serving indigenous or tribal nations around the United States. So the purpose of the centers is really to support the development and expansion of local and regional food systems. So the USDA really saw during the pandemic that our local and regional food systems were some of the most resilient aspects of the global food system, and that there's incredible opportunity to have growth within those systems by diversifying them, and through that we will have a more resilient and reliant food system across our nation. So the outcomes of the over $400 million investment that USDA has put into the centers is really looking at strengthening regional food system networks and partnerships, creating more markets for local and regionally produced food, increasing the number of new food and farm businesses, and then improving the viability of existing businesses. Next, the Northwestern Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center serves a 6-state region, which you can see on your screen: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. And our particular business center is really focused on connecting, strengthening, and scaling food supply chains. So we're looking at opportunities to fund foundational business development for small and mid-sized food and agricultural businesses that are participating in local and regional food sectors. And the Regional Food Business Center, I like to say, funds things that are post-field and post-pasture. So this particular USDA program is focused on developing markets and developing value-added food processing. We have a lot of partners across our 6-state region, all of the land-grant universities and Department of Ag from each state. We also have different organizations that have been working in local and regional food systems for a long time, like the Niche Meat Processors Assistance Network, which really helps with meat processing across the nation. And so they're providing a lot of technical assistance and support, as well as organizations like the Food Corridor that focuses on community kitchen operations or shared kitchen use, and Tahoma Peak Solutions, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, that really supports tribal nations. Each state has a state team. In Idaho, our state team is made up of these amazing people that you can see on our screen. And we really looked at developing a team that was located across the US so that if you have questions about the center, if you're looking for resources, that you are able to connect with somebody close to you. The leads for the center are myself and Katie Baker with FAIR Idaho. So our Regional Food Business Center focuses on three main activities. So coordination across different entities that are working in local and regional food systems. And then a large amount of funding is available for technical assistance. Our 6-state region was funded at $30 million for 5 years. And the majority of those funds are actually going to go into technical assistance programs. And I'll be talking a little bit about how you can access those programs. Jana will be talking about some of the programs that are being funded by the center or have the opportunity to be funded by the center if they could be useful to you. Capacity building is really looking at Business Builder Grant Awards. And there's going to be a program that is going to launch later this spring where businesses can apply for direct grants to support their business. And that would be perhaps you have a small equipment purchase that is a priority, or you need to implement a marketing strategy that you have and you need some marketing or branding resources. So there's going to be direct funding available for those types of things. There's 4 main themes the center is focusing on. One is building animal protein supply chain capacity. And so this is really looking at how can we invest in supporting processing and different types of collaboration that will help bring locally raised meats into the marketplace. And so this includes poultry as well as red meat. And there's also the opportunity to receive funds to support local and regional dairies. Another area is really focusing on the development of diverse markets for climate resilient agricultural products, in particular artisan grains, which are grains that have some unique property that is makes the grain special or more relevant to a local and regional food system instead of a commodity market. Also looking at supporting dry bean and pulse production. Next slide. Connecting and scaling food entrepreneurs is really looking at helping food entrepreneurs get their recipes into market and to scale up. So this could be you as a farmer or a rancher looking at doing a value-added product for something that you're raising, or it could be you as a food business looking to source local and regionally produced plant and animal products to go into your into your recipes, into your final product. So we're looking at supporting both farms and ranches as well as those small food processing businesses and other entrepreneurs that are bringing local and regional food to market. And then finally, we're looking at really what is the infrastructure and the investment that is needed to support businesses moving forward. And how can we help small businesses that are looking to expand to be able to access the resources that they need and the capital that they need to do that expansion. And Hannah's going to be talking about one of the projects that the center is funding or co-funding to be able to help identify some of the infrastructure that's available for scaling your resources. So each of these themes has co-leads. You'll be able to find the contact information for the theme leads on the center's website. And so if you are working within one of these areas, it would be great if you could contact both your state and the theme leads about the resources that are available to support your farm or food business. We are also partnering with Tribal Nations and Tahoma Peak Solutions, which is a woman-run consulting firm, Native American woman-run consulting firm, is working with us to partner with Tribal Nations. If you are a member of a Tribal Nation, I encourage you to contact Nora Frank Buckner, and she will help you get connected with resources in the center as well. So how can you access the center's resources? First, you'll want to sign up for the center's newsletter. When you sign up for the center's newsletter, which is on a website that I'll show you in a second, you will be able to, you will actually be connected directly to the state and the theme team that is related to your interest in accessing the center. So while it's a central sign up, for instance, in Idaho, myself and Katie will get your contact information and see what your interests are based on your responses to the form in the sign up fields. You want to analyze your business to identify what you need most to grow your business. And this is a really important pre-work for you to do. If you don't have a written plan, that's something that we can help connect you to resources to develop a business plan, help you develop a marketing plan. But you're really going to need to identify what are some of the key things that could help you in terms of technical assistance, building the capacity that you have to operate and grow your business, as well as other partners in your business or your employees. And then if you're interested in applying for a business builder grant, that you've done an analysis of your business so that you're really sure what the investment is that you need the funding for to go to the next level. And then we encourage you to discuss your needs with your state team leads or team member nearest you so that we can get you connected to technical assistance and to help you apply for those business builder grants. So here are the links. I will put these in the chat a little bit later in the webinar where you can connect to the center's newsletter. You can get the contact information for everybody on the Idaho State team, and you will have my email address. So all of these slides will be available with the webinar recording on the Cultivating Success website. So thank you so much for sharing all of those slides, Melissa. And I am going to go ahead and see if I can move us over to go ahead and share the screen for Fair Idaho. As our next presenter is Katie Baker. She was not able to be here today, but she sent us a recording about the different things that Fair Idaho is doing in their state and how to connect you to their resources.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Baker. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this meeting. I apologize that I can't make it today, but I wanted to share some slides about Fair Idaho and give a quick background about our organization. I'll give a brief overview of our history and then talk about some of our initiatives that we're working on and what Fair Idaho is really all about. So Fair Idaho was born out of the pandemic. FAIR is an acronym. It stands for Food, Agriculture, Restaurants, and Establishments. We are a nonprofit trade association that represents and advocates on behalf of independent food and beverage businesses. We were formed initially when the pandemic hit, when a lot of independent bars and restaurants were struggling with how they were going to operate going forward. And so we wanted to build a nonprofit organization that advocated on behalf of independent food and beverage businesses. It became quickly apparent that there was no organization that could assist these independent food and beverage businesses to manage a pandemic. And quite honestly, when the pandemic hit, a lot of the restaurants, especially in downtown Boise and around the state and of course around the nation, were closed, and they weren't sure if they were going to lose their businesses or how they were going to move forward. But we wanted to create a nonprofit that was structured a little differently than any other nonprofit. So FAIR is an acronym standing for Food, Agriculture, Restaurants, and Establishments, and we are actually structured around the local food system. So within our fold, we have farmers, ranchers, independent food and beverage producers, livestock processors, bars, and independent grocers. And so we grew actually really quickly. We started our membership in August of 2020. We formed in March of 2020, but it took us a few months to actually get to a good place in terms of launching this nonprofit trade association in our membership. So we've since grown to 420 members strong. We have about 90 small farmers that typically sell within the state of Idaho as part of our organization. And what do we do? So FAIR advocates on behalf of our members. That could really range the gamut. It could be livestock processing. It could be working on livestock processing. It could be farmland preservation. It could be issues impacting negatively or positively independent food and beverage businesses like restaurants and bars. Our members actually come to us with their advocacy needs. And I'll circle back to that because there's a little bit of a side angle that we realized we could do when we grew to the right size. But we also work to connect Idaho producers to Idaho buyers. We want to build a more resilient food system. And because our organization is structured around the local food system, we are able to work to connect those forces. And then really, truly, the third leg of the stool is to unite forces. We wanted to meet in the Radical Food Center so we could create positive change for the entire industry. And so we really work with other nonprofit organizations, and it just really ranges the gamut. But we work with all types of organizations to build consensus around issues impacting the food system so we can work together better and really smarter. What I noticed when I came into this role is that a lot of organizations might be working on saving farmland, but they weren't necessarily talking. And so we wanted to kind of break that up and build bridges to create that positive change for the industry. So our advocacy efforts, when we first started, we focused really on the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. And that was a $28.6 billion grant that went to independent restaurants. I remember initially just questioning, like, we're not spending enough time on farmers or ag issues. And a farmer had said to me, Katie, if those independent restaurants don't survive, we don't survive either. And that really brought home the point for me that we need to treat it as a system, as opposed to really just looking at an organization that represents farmers or restaurants, etc. We wanted to really unite all those forces. Livestock processing is something that we've had quite a few roundtables on. It's really problematic in terms of workforce issues or small producers not being able to get into their processors. So we have a lot of conversations around livestock processing, and we're still developing opportunities to move forward in a positive way. And then farmland preservation, FAIR is supporting and behind some farmland legislation that will protect farmland going forward and put those into conservation easements if the farmer is interested. And then we're currently also working on liquor license legislation, which actually impacts a lot of our restaurants and bars. So like I mentioned, our members reach out with their advocacy needs. We also work with a lot of organizations within the state of Idaho, but we also join forces nationally with Regenerate America. A lot of the farmers that are a part of FAIR typically farm regeneratively or organically. So it was just a seamless integration to work with Regenerate America so we can get a voice on a national stage. And then also the Independent Restaurant Coalition, which represents independent restaurants. So we also look for national organizations that we can partner with to be more effective in the state of Idaho. So one of the ways that we unite our farmers and our producers and our buyers is we host a large event. We take over the Jump building in downtown Boise. And this year we had on January 18th, we had 80 booths. These were all small producers or industry partners, but the majority of those were small producers throughout the state of Idaho. This gives an opportunity for buyers, chefs, everyday consumers to come in and meet their local producer. We wanted to build more of a connection so people understand the importance and the incredible humans that provide the food that we eat. And then we also do panel discussions. Could be how to link the food system, how to work on distribution. It could be innovative water implementations that farmers have done that have helped on their farms. So it just really ranges the gamut of whatever topics are really important to discuss that year. And then we also host chef-led classes. This year we did 5 chef-led classes. I should mention this event is free to attend. We hosted 5 chef-led classes that really highlighted local producers, but then also local chefs. And then we give free small plates out to everyone that attends. And so that's typically standing room only, as well as our panel discussions were really standing room only. So we are moving our event. We've had 2 snow days in January, the year prior, and then this, in 2024. So in 2025, we're actually moving our event to February. We are also talking about, here's some quick pictures, but we are also talking about how can we do regional events. So our intention is to go to Northern Idaho and host a smaller Field to Fork event up there. This event in particular, because it's so large, it actually takes about 6 months of planning to get to the day. It was really great because for us, a lot of the participants and the people involved from the survey results or just the feedback that we received was that it was extremely beneficial in terms of the quality engagement that each of the producers had. So one of the things that we realized as we were growing is we can actually negotiate on behalf of our members to make their lives a little easier. So here's some of the initiatives that FAIR's been working on. We have Nice Healthcare that we've partnered with. This is a primary care provider. If you're in the Treasure Valley, because we have so many members here, we actually have Nice Healthcare nurse practitioners that make house calls. It costs $44 per employee per month, and it covers the employee and every family member residing in their home. So let's say you get sick, they actually come to your house and treat the whole family at once. There is no additional cost. It just costs $44 a month. For the rest of the state, as we're building and growing in each area, our intention is to get nurse practitioners in other parts of the state. We've had many meetings on this and traveled the state, but we just need enough lives in any given area to actually implement that plan. This, the Nice Healthcare is available via telehealth for the rest of the state and also includes mental health counseling. They have counselors on staff. We have harassment training. We've done music licensing discounts, etc. And then we are also negotiating on behalf of all FAIR members to get lowered health and dental insurance with Blue Cross. We're waiting for the Department of Insurance to give us the okay, but everything is in motion. The rates have been negotiated. The marketing materials are built. We're just waiting on the State Department of Insurance to give us the approval. So that's one of the initiatives we'll be working on in 2024. And the rates are incredible. So our goal is really to give an opportunity for our employers to offer more benefits to keep staff. We did a Learn the Art of Butchery series. FAIR did. We traveled the state. We really wanted to have a multi-pronged approach when we're talking about livestock processing. Yes, sure, there's issues with livestock processing, but how can we educate people that are attending our classes? Also to learn how to break down an animal with butchers and chefs, and also discuss the issues that a lot of these small producers face. So it's a multi-pronged approach, and we'll be doing more classes in 2024 and 2025, a little different than the Learn the Art of Butchery, but that YouTube says we have 62,000 views, but actually there's probably closer to 70,000 views of these butchery classes. So it allows an everyday consumer or chef to watch the videos and hopefully gain insight on how they can implement those practices in their home or restaurant. So And I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. And I love this picture of this girl. It reminds us all of our why, right? We need to keep fighting. And, FAIR has a secret mission, really, is why did we create an organization around the food system? And we know it all starts at the farm. So we're so grateful that we're able to unite all these forces, remember our why, and our secret mission is really to help farmers be as successful as they can. And FAIR is currently offering free marketing resources to 20 small producers, 5 small farmers markets. This is basic websites, logos. A lot of producers just don't even know where to start, and building a website can be really expensive. So we got grant funding to provide these resources to farmers, but we just need to continue on and remember our why. And so thank you all for letting me join you today. I really appreciate the opportunity. And my email will be put in the chat by Colette. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I should mention that farmers to join FAIR Idaho for a year is $75. So we try to keep it low because our intention is to help our small producers in the state of Idaho be as successful as they can. So thank you.
So in terms of FAIR Idaho, I think one of the things that FAIR is really trying to do is to provide some critical services for things like healthcare that can really impact farms and food businesses. I will put Katie's information in the chat as well as a link to the website so you can see the full collection of support and resources that members receive. With this, I want to move on to our next speaker, who is Yana Hamlet. Thanks for being here today, Yana.
Thanks, Colette. Let me get my screen here. Thank you, Colette and Melissa, for inviting me. I appreciate it. I'm here to talk a little bit about University of Idaho Extension and Tech Help, and then a little bit more about one of the theme teams that Colette described in our regional food business, so the connecting and scaling. This is a unique position. You guys have all heard about University of Idaho Extension, so you understand all the different touch points that U of I Extension has. So I won't go into much about that, but you may not have heard about Tech Help. And Tech Help is Idaho's Manufacturing Extension Partnership Center. And so every state has an MEP, so it's a national program. And the focus of the MEPs is to help manufacturers succeed. And this is all manufacturing, not just necessarily food, even though today we're talking about food and our growing our local food systems. But just so in case you haven't heard that term before, Tech Help, you can read there the vision statement and such, but it's really trying to help manufacturers of all kinds, whatever pain points they have, what can we do to help them get past that? So that's what we do at Tech Help. As I mentioned, we are part of the national network. So every state has an MEP center, although not every state's MEP center has a food division. So Tech Help's a little unique there. Tech Help partners with our university systems. So I'm with University of Idaho, but I have colleagues that are with Boise State and colleagues that are with Idaho State. We also work closely with our small business centers and the Idaho Department of Ag and Idaho Department of Labor and Commerce and things like that as well, to be able to provide, again, that technical assistance or that service, or really just resources. That's what our major thing is connecting people with somebody that can help them get past that issue, whatever that issue happens to be. So like I said, we are all over the states of Idaho. I'm in Twin Falls, but I have colleagues that are up in Boise area, Post Falls, and then Idaho Falls and Pocatello. So we are kind of geographically throughout the state to be able to, again, provide that resource. And so we kind of have with Tech Help has three, and I'm only going to focus on one today, kind of three sections. And we're going to talk about food because this is our food manufacturing and really wanted to focus more about how we can help small businesses develop, right? But we do also have another section that kind of does operations management. If you've heard of Lean Six Sigma or lean manufacturing, that's where a lot of that is, reduction of waste, increased value added. And then we also have an NPD or a new product development. That is mainly more focused on things like widgets. So they have some CNC machines and some 3D printing machines, and they do some product design and drawings and things like that. Not so much on the food side, more on widgets, but that's kind of the Tech Help. And so again, focusing more on the food processing and kind of what services we've provided before. And then I have some offerings that we've got going on right now, which is really exciting. Hopefully some of you can take advantage of those. And if you can't this time around, with our regional food business, we hope to have more and some of the same ones again. But really in our food processing program, we try to help those small processors and large processors. So the MEP system is just focused on small to medium manufacturing, understanding that that's the federal. So pretty much all manufacturing in Idaho, except for maybe Idaho Forest Group and Micron, fits in that small to medium, right? But really, it's just helping maybe developing your food safety programs, helping with HACCP, things like that. We also work with, like I said, the SBDC to help with marketing plans and business plans. And like Colette said, there's some additional services to kind of help with that. We help with scale up and we are connected with the University of Idaho Commercial Kitchen in Caldwell. And so they have that commercial kitchen there that can help at processing and getting it to that next step. We help with quality programs. We help with product development. As you get larger and you start getting bigger customers and you need help with like third-party audits and the various certifications that are required by a Kroger and Albertsons, a Whole Foods, those kinds of things, we can help with that as well. And so a little bit about a couple of things we've got going on right now. So this is part of that regional food business. This is one of those that is a grant. So this is 100% free to join us. What we're going to do is over 5 Tuesdays with a couple of weeks in between, we're going to help you develop your food safety plan. And you're also going to get a couple of certifications out of this one. Those of you that understand Food Safety Modernization Act and your preventive controls for human food, you have to have a person that holds the preventive controls qualified individual certificate and training, that accreditation. So out of this program, you'll be able to get that. It's acronymed PCQI. Preventive Controls Qualified Individual. And then we're also going to cover HACCP. So some of you may have some health districts that are asking you about HACCP. If you make a product that has meat, poultry, or eggs, you fall under that USDA area, which is HACCP is your food safety program. And so in this, we're calling it the Gem State Food Safety Alliance. It's a cohort. We'll help you get those food safety plans up and going. So we've got a lot of curriculum, we've got a lot of templates, things like that. And so you can see there, it does start here in a couple weeks. So we're running into that deadline. But if you want to join us or if you have any questions, please reach out to me or Colette or Melissa or anybody there, and we can get those answers for you. Another one we've got coming up is developing your food product idea. Again, this one is in partnership with our University of Idaho Food Technology Center in Caldwell. Oh, I forgot to mention, both the Gem State Food Safety Alliance and this one will be over Zoom as well as in person. So those of you that are not necessarily located in Twin Falls for the Gem State, or Caldwell for this developing your food product, you can join us via Zoom. So don't be worried about travel. We can have that figured out as well. This is just a 1 day mass amount of information about, I've got this food idea, what do I do now? And that's kind of what we hope to answer, is to give you some basics of regulatory, some basics of food safety, some basics of product development and marketing, and understanding that we're going to cover all of that in 1 day. So it's not a deep dive. It's kind of an overview, high level. But those of you that have a food product that you're interested in making into more of a value add, or you're interested in processing, you can come join us for this and hopefully get you some ideas. And again, more resources of who to reach out to. Another one that I wanted to talk about also is, again, with the Regional Food Business Center, there's those 4 themes, and I'm on the theme team for the connecting and scaling. And so we've got a couple of programs. This is one, getting your recipe to market. This one, again, it's ran out of Oregon in their innovation center there. So you can join via Zoom, via distance. But they're going to give you, again, a lot of that basic information of how do you develop a product? How do you market a product? How do you get a proper label for it? What kind of claims can you make? Those kinds of things. That is what this program is going to help you with as well. And so currently, again, this is a free program because it's granted through that Regional Food Business Center. And so if you're interested in that, again, let us know. The next one's starting here really soon, but they're going to run another one in the fall. And so that one, you might be able to join us as well. A couple of other things that I don't have slides for with that program is we've been able to send a couple of people to the Fancy Food Show that was in Vegas. And then there's also one coming up in New York, I believe. Again, it's greatly reduced because of the grant, and you get connections with a lot of those large scale retailers to be able to hopefully get your product picked up and put in their stores. And so we had a couple people go earlier this year from Idaho, and then we've got some more slated to go to the next one, and then again for the Fancy Food Show again in Vegas. So if you're interested in that one, let us know, and we can chat about that as well. So right now, there's other opportunities as well, but they're just not quite finalized for us to be able to publish. But we've got some more programs coming out of that theme team to, again, just help those smaller manufacturers scale up to larger businesses. So that is my whirlwind of conversation. Again, you have my contact information. You'll have a copy of these slides. And if you have any questions, or if you even have anybody in your neighborhood that you talked to that wasn't able to join and they're interested in any of these programs, please feel free to spam our contacts as much as possible, because it only works if we actually can get to you guys that need that help. And we can help you provide it. So just let us know what we can do, but we're here for a resource. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Colette and Melissa.
Thank you, Yana. There are some questions that came into the chat, and I just want to remind everyone that we'll have Hannah speak, and then we will answer all of those questions. If you have anything else that's come to mind, please go ahead and type it in the Q&A box, and we will make sure to answer those questions. So Hannah, thank you for joining us from Sun Valley area. We're really interested to learn more about the Sun Valley Institute for Resilience and the work you're doing.
Thank you so much, Colette, and thank you to Melissa as well, and all the other amazing presenters we have heard from so far. Again, my name is Hannah Harris, and I'm the program coordinator for the Sun Valley Institute for Resilience. And I am the lead on this regional food systems asset map. I'd also like to acknowledge that our incredible executive director, Amy Mateus, plays a huge role in the work that has been integral to getting this project off the ground. It was her idea originally. And so it's been a great joy to work with her on getting this project through to the finish line. So let's see. There we go. The Sun Valley Institute for Resilience is a nonprofit. We were founded in 2015. We are located in the Wood River Valley. However, we are not associated with Sun Valley Company. So just would like to clarify that. And the purpose of Sun Valley Institute for Resilience is to advance community resilience in the Wood River Valley, but also the broader region in South Central Idaho by educating, investing, and collaborating to ensure that our economy, environment, and people can thrive. And I'll touch on this more later, but we define resilience as being able to overcome adversity and respond intentionally to risks. So risks that we face, natural disasters, ongoing risks. And over the last several years, we've really become more and more focused on regenerative agriculture, climate smart land management, and that is where our regional food systems asset map comes into play. I'd also like to note that diversity and equity related to both agriculture and food access are really important to us. And so that is one of our main goals with this project as well. So we have 3 programs that work in tandem, and they really work together to have the most exponential impact possible in our regional food system. So the Impact Idaho Fund invests capital in locally rooted ideas. So farmers, agriculture, food infrastructure in our regional food system. The Local Food Alliance develops market opportunities for businesses and facilitates connections to consumers. And our tagline with the Local Food Alliance is that changing systems starts with a seed. And then our third program is really focused solely in Blaine County. But our 5B Resilient program empowers everyday climate action and also food literacy. So educating and empowering our local community is also a big catalyst for transformation of our system. So here are some more details on our programs. So you can see that through the Impact Idaho Fund, we provide 0 and low interest loans. Again, we do have a South Central Idaho focus within the fund, but we've provided over $400,000 in capital so far to regional farmers, including a micro dairy, a culinary mushroom operation, a meat processing facility that was new. And so through our portfolio companies, we've helped provide over 46,000 pounds of locally consumed food. And we've funded 4 pre-revenue businesses, which is really exciting. Our Local Food Alliance is, I won't touch on in great detail on this slide because that is the program that the Regional Food System Asset Mapping Project falls under. But some other programs we have or projects we have going on within this program include the facilitation of procurement policies for to increase local demand with local businesses and restaurants and markets. And then we also publish our annual Locally Grown Guide, which connects consumers to local food. Our 5B Resilient program, again, is Blaine County focused. And this is really about educating our local community on the importance of creating a robust and resilient regional food system and why they should be interested in connecting to their regional farmers and ranchers and getting to know them and supporting their businesses. So a little bit more on the Local Food Alliance. The Regional Food Systems Asset Mapping Project falls under this program. And this program is really focused on connecting all of our food system stakeholders with the goal of having this thriving system. So a thriving food system has public health benefits, has economic benefits, and also has incredible climate benefits. And I know I want to make sure we have time for questions, so I'm going to zoom through a little bit towards the end here. So risks in our regional food system, there are ongoing challenges and also acute shocks. So if you tried to buy flour at any point during the beginning of the pandemic, this photo might look familiar. We don't have as adaptable as a system as we would like when it comes to these major shocks. And so when we think about creating resilient systems that can intentionally respond to risk, we think about diversity and redundancy, connectivity, adaptive thinking, and this asset mapping project is going to help facilitate the creation of a more resilient system through all of those characteristics. So our Idaho Regional Food System Asset Mapping Project, when we say asset, what we really mean is a hard infrastructure business, operation, or organization even that is contributing to our regional food supply chain. So for the first launch of this project, that includes processing and manufacturing, warehousing and storage, distributing and transporting. Rentable commercial kitchens is important as well. And then additionally, food access. So think food banks, food pantries, and food recovery locations. We wanted to have this be a GIS mapping tool so that it could be a tool that was accessible through visual information and really kind of intuitive to use and understand. So think of it as a much more informative, advanced, Idaho-focused Google Maps for our food system. It will be publicly available through our website. It's going to include a lot more up-to-date information that might be more current than information that currently exists other places. We will be including out-of-state locations that are within 45 miles of the Idaho border. We recognize that there are a lot of rural communities that might have really beneficial business transactions or business connections with other businesses that are out of state. And then some important next steps once this map is launched is that we'll be able to identify gaps in our regional food system and opportunities for expansion, diversification, and redundancy. So maybe there isn't a meat processing facility nearby to you, and this map will help us identify those holes in our system, those gaps, and facilitate that new infrastructure. It will also allow for some more advanced supply chain analysis and economic research. So this is a kind of bare bones example of what a user experience might look like. So you can see that we're looking at the Idaho Falls area. All of these little dots here are meat, poultry, or egg inspection operations. And when you go to click one individual dot, you can see where it's located, the name of the business, and then there's some contact information available as well. For the sake of time, I'm going to save the anecdotal example. And just in summary, we're really hoping and we really envision that this asset mapping project, once it becomes available online, will bolster resiliency in our regional food system. It's going to be an amazing resource for really all food system stakeholders. There are economic benefits, environmental benefits, and huge benefits to our communities as well. So with that, I'll leave some time for questions. Oh, one last thing. We really want this to serve as a model for other communities. So we've had inquiries as far as Texas, geographically interested in this project and how they could scale or replicate it. And then in future, we are going to include farmers and ranchers as assets, food assets on this map. For the first launch, we decided to stick with hard infrastructure, but we're hoping to include farmers and ranchers in future. And with that, I will allow us to move on to questions. Thank you, Colette and Melissa.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. I see that we have, first I'll start with the questions that are in the Q&A box. And so we have a question from Julie that says she has a small flower farm and she's wondering if I believe Fair Idaho would pertain to her business as it's not food or beverage related. And particularly with Fair Idaho, I could see that in terms of there are some retail and restaurant market connections with flower businesses. If you're interested in making those types of connections, it is a local farm product that we see being purchased by those types of entities. Also with Fair Idaho, as Katie mentioned, really looking at some of the things around working together to try to create an insurance group that would include farmers and ranchers can be pretty meaningful if that is something that you're needing. Also, there's been some benefits around having better rates for point of sale or POS systems. So as a fair member, you would qualify for having some other services that really relate to the types of tools that you would use for your business. So I would say definitely reach out to Katie and talk more about your business and the relationship to FAIR and the different types of member benefits that are available. So Lindsay has a question, and Yana, this is directed towards you in terms of the Food Safety Alliance program. She is wondering if that is only open to Idaho or if it's also available to folks in other states, as she's in Pullman, which is right across the border from Moscow.
Yeah, so I mean, we titled it the Gem States, so it is Idaho focused, but we have some other participants from other states. So if you want to join us, Lindsay, and it makes sense and it's a good fit, just get a hold of me and let's chat a little bit about your business. But you should be able to join us.
Great, thank you. And I want to say, kind of building off of that, when we're talking about things like getting your recipe to market, if you are in another state that is served by the Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center, you could go to that training as well through your state. So what we do within that particular program is that as our state team, we recommend businesses to be able to participate in that program free of charge. So if you are in another state, I encourage you to go to the Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center's website and contact your state team leads. Let them know you would like to be a participant in the Getting Recipe to Market, because they're the ones that are going to forward names to the regional Scaling Food Business Enterprises team to be able to sign people up for that. And what would happen is then you would get a call from the instructor for that course. They talk about the course, talk about your business, make sure it's a really good fit with you so that you know that you're investing your time in something that's going to serve you. So again, feel free to, if you're in Idaho, contact anyone on the Idaho state team. If you're in another state, contact your state team leads. Let's see. June has a comment. She said that she would like to get the numbers of CSAs, small retail farms, market hubs, and farmers markets. She's really looking at serving the Idaho Panhandle with a new website that's called organicnearby.com. And I think, June, in terms of what you're doing, what I believe this is a kind of a model of a food hub or an online directory. In terms of the Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center, that would fall under the theme of right-size investment in infrastructure. And so if there are particular resources that would be helpful to you as you expand that platform and make it more available to farmers, ranchers, and the buyers of those products, please let us know. Sign up through the center's website. Tell us what you're interested in, and then either myself or Katie would follow up with you for additional conversation about what would help you move that business forward, because we understand that that's one of the linkages that is so important, is this food hub or this connector, the aggregator, the platforms that help connects the producer to the consumer. And we're also very interested in connecting people that are producing value-added products with buyers as well. So I think a question for you, Hannah, would something like Organic Nearby, which is serving as that food hub or like online infrastructure, be something you would want to be listing in your asset map?
So at this stage, we would, because there's not necessarily a physical location, that resource would most likely be, we would love to include it, and it would be available in more of the description, introductory materials that will be available alongside the map. So yes.
Thank you. So June, you could contact Hannah, and maybe Hannah, you could put your email in the chat just for ease about making sure that you're connected.
Absolutely.
Great. Susan is asking about poultry processing. There's no licensed poultry processing facility in Northern Idaho. Is this something that's being addressed by these programs? Poultry processing has come up as part of the animal protein supply chain conversations. There are quite a few resources through the Niche Meat Processing Network for people who want to start poultry processing. The way that would work with this center is we recognize it's an identified need. If there is an entrepreneur or a number of entrepreneurs, community members that would like to come together to help establish a poultry processing facility within their community, then the center could work with them. The center is not in a position to establish a business. It's in the position to help the entrepreneurs that want to put that business together to be able to do that in a way that's successful. So if a community has a group of an individual or a group of individuals, they could be farmers or non-farmers, that would be interested in establishing a poultry processing facility, then you would want to really reach out to the team leads for the animal protein supply chains. Definitely, I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone in Idaho about that and the resources. And then that entity, the supply chain, animal protein supply chain theme team, would be able to direct you to the best resources to help you move forward. And maybe that is that you need to do a feasibility study. And that would be something that you would ask the Center for Resources to support, would be doing a feasibility study around establishing a processing facility. So let's see. In terms of the chat, Melissa, did you see any questions come into the chat that we have not answered yet?
I have not seen anything. I think you've addressed all the questions. Okay,
great. Thank you for watching the chat. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, this recording, this webinar has been recorded. It will be available on the Cultivating Success website with all of the handouts from our speakers. Thank you to our speakers. We'll provide a link to the video from Fair Idaho, as well as pull out the resource links from the chat and have those available on our website. Our final website for this series is, our final webinar for this series is going to be this Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain. Our guests are from Idaho State Department of Ag, so we will have the program manager for the Idaho Farm and Ranch Center talk about the programs available through the Farm and Ranch Center, and then we will have somebody from Idaho Preferred talk about that marketing platform and resource and how that can serve both farmers and food businesses, as well as some of those retail establishments or restaurants that are sourcing locally. So we hope to see you on Thursday. Thank you again for joining us today.